I can't say that I'm really shocked. I can't say that I'm really surprised. I can't really have any other reaction to this besides this is fucking insane, dude. They are unironically going for a regime change effort against Nicolas Maduro. I saw the images of this very early in the morning, and I was just like, there is no fucking way. No fucking way that they actually captured Nicolas Maduro. Lo and behold, they actually fucking captured him. By the way, we have also received confirmation because, of course, American media is incredibly dog shit and has to sane wash this administration at every fucking turn in order to make sure that they maintain their access because of the fact that they are privatized fucking media and they need to maintain their connections to the fucking White House. Essentially waiting for the order from on high saying like, yeah, Donald Trump actually did say this and actually did give out the fucking order for this. With Marco Rubio more than likely being the diligent little fucking worker bee in the background orchestrating the fucking plan for this unironic fucking regime change. Genuinely fucking insane. The unsealed indictment against Maduro, by the way, has barely fucking changed. Completely fucking nonsensical. Still the exact same drug conspiracy charges, which are based on basically absolutely nothing, but also as slapping on machine gun charges, as Pisco says here, quite eloquently, I'd say. Trump pardoned Juan Orlando Hernandez. For those who may not know, Juan Orlando Hernandez unironically worked with Carlos Guzman, aka El Chapo, one of the most notorious drug kingpins on the planet, in order to smuggle tens of millions of dollars of drugs, of cocaine, and tons of cocaine within the United States of America. Trump gave him a fucking pardon in order to curry some form of favor with the Honduran government. So again, no standards. It's never been about fucking drug charges. We all know this. This has always been fundamentally about regime change within Venezuela. Unironic, Iraq 3, electric fucking boogaloo shit. But we have the big man himself, Trump, giving a fucking presser about this. He said at 11 a.m. he was going to give a fucking press conference about this. We're going to see what this man has to say after doing the unironic fucking regime change of Venezuela. And for those who may think, because of course liberals are saying, look at the Venezuelans celebrating on the streets that they have been freed from Nicolas Maduro. I do agree that Nicolas Maduro is a bad fucking dictator. I do not like Nicolas Maduro, unironically. I don't really like him. I do think that he more than likely cheated on the fucking elections in Venezuela during, this would have been about 2021, around there during those elections. More than likely he cheated. The answer to that sort of problem is not just capturing him and his fucking wife. That's not going to be the answer to this. That's not going to be effective. That's fucking really, really stupid. This is probably the worst thing possible to do, because what's going to happen essentially, and Trump says it himself during this press conference, that, well, we're going to run things for a little while and we're going to put in Maria Elisa Conchado into power, and she's going to run things. He even self-admits that the Venezuelan people don't really like her, and it's going to be tough for her because of the Venezuelan people not really liking her all that much. Again, it's naked. It is just imperialism, and this is essentially dying fucking empire shit. Exactly what a dying empire would do. Instead of integrating people and integrating, people as regional partners to work together to a shared collective fucking goal, what do dying empires do? Bully, economically coerce, and invade people if they step out of line too much, if their perceived sort of empire status is seemingly under threat. This is going to be a complete fucking disaster for not only the Venezuelan people, but for the Trump administration. Because, again, I'm going to pull it up again because I forgot to pull it up. But this is incredibly fucking unpopular. So, just in case people have forgotten, just in case, in terms of the popularity for this, if this is about, like, the Trump administration essentially trying to crawl back in terms of approval rating for the rather flailing sort of administration that's currently happening right now, this is actively incredibly unpopular with the American people. This is not going to work out as well as the administration thinks. I think literally Nick Fuentes also said that he is supportive of regime change of Venezuela. What happened to being America first, Nick? I thought our heckin' isolationism and populist conservatives would be against war in fucking Venezuela. I had no idea. Oh, it's because it's all a fucking lie and these people are all fucking grifters. This is, again, going to be a complete disaster for the administration. It is not going to work out as well as they think it will.
You being here? Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault, and it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator...
Essentially, the American Air Force just went in there pretty much fucking unopposed. Like, there was no... shots, basically like no shots fired whatsoever by like Venezuelan fucking air defenses. Like, this is, heavily entrenched military fortress in order to, kidnap Nicolas Maduro. Yeah, sure, bro.
Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and
all of which didn't fucking really bear any fruit and were also failures in terms of containing ISIS.
Obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation
which have been essentially restored and repaired at this point. Trump has threatened to hit Iran again, as along with the fucking Israelis as well. They have threatened to hit the nuclear sites again. Damn, it's almost as if all the experts were saying that those strikes on the Iranian nuclear sites were only going to delay them for a couple of months. And a couple of months have passed since those fucking strikes. Oh, it's almost as if all that fucking accomplished basically nothing. Just like this regime change attempt.
Operation known as Midnight Hammer. All perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time.
Never could.
All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military working with U.S. law enforcement.
I believe currently, and this is a statistic that came out recently, America and Donald Trump currently holds the record of bombing the single most amount of countries in a single year of his presidency. 7 different countries he has bombed. What? He's bombed Nigeria. He's bombed Venezuela. He's bombed Iran. He's bombed a couple of other places as well. Currently, he's at fucking 7 countries that he has bombed during just the first year of his administration.
Successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark.
You bombed the shit out of their fucking goddamn military base and knocked out the power, you fucking dumbass.
And it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States. And it's...
Again, basically based off of completely nothing. Donald Trump is saying that Nicolas Maduro works with fucking Tren de Aragua, a prison fucking gang, to distribute drugs within the United States of America. Again, this is completely fucking nonsensical. And the administration has presented 0 fucking evidence to suggest that this is going to be the case. The 25-page fucking indictment that they have presented is completely full of holes. it can be very easily sort of argued against and called ridiculous and stupid. And if there are lawyers that decide to take up this case for Nicolas Maduro, it can be a complete fucking legal quagmire for the administration. This is ultimately, it's like literally, this is just meant to accomplish nothing. By the way, real fucking quick, what stops China from doing basically the exact same shit to Taiwan? What stops that? I asked this fucking question, like, honestly. What's going to stop them from attempting to do an invasion of Taiwan? The word of the U.S. means basically absolutely nothing on the world stage because of actions like this being done by the President of the United States.
Citizens, I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different.
If you look back at your fucking coup attempt in 2019.
Days, we're a respected country again, like never before. These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea, just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming, so they were in a ready, what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed.
We've seen the videos. Like, Venezuelan air defense basically did nothing. It got knocked out, like, basically instantaneously. The detection systems all got knocked out. Same with most of the fucking air bases. They also got knocked out. The Venezuelan Air Force was incapable of fucking responding to this regime change war. Like, unironically, they were not able to do anything about this. Because, again, it seems like they weren't fucking expecting this, or maybe this is a conspiracy. I have no evidence. This is just a speculation that I have. It could be also possible that there are people within the Venezuelan military who may have been in cahoots with the Trump administration. That is also entirely possible.
And very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight.
So many planes.
Think of that. Not one piece of military equipment was lost. Not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military.
Quick reminder, this guy is the one who orchestrated the disastrous fucking pullout of Afghanistan. He's the one who negotiated the deal with the fucking Taliban to cause a political quagmire for the next coming fucking administration.
Strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far, with capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have, and you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills 25 on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%.
No evidence. Again, I don't know how many times this needs to be fucking indicated. Literally, with the first strike that happened on the first initial boat, U.S. generals said, like, yeah, that boat was probably heading to Suriname and was probably going to distribute drugs within Europe, not to the United States of America. Again, the basis of attacking the fucking alleged drug smuggling boats, because again, the administration presented no evidence to suggest that they were drug smuggling boats whatsoever. So who knows if that initial drug smuggling boat was even headed to fucking Suriname and was going to distribute drugs within Europe specifically. We have no fucking idea because, again, the administration decided to bomb first and then ask questions later.
And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela.
Venezuela.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be.
And there it fucking is, rather blatantly, right there. This has always been a regime change war. Period. End of fucking story. And is anyone going to point this out? I know Thomas Massey got fucking mad about this, but he's only getting mad about this because of being snubbed actively by Trump. Not because of, like, any sort of, like, libertarian principle that he has or whatever. I mean, he's slated to basically be leaving Congress relatively soon anyways. Same with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Also talking about the consequences of regime change war. None of these people stand on any fucking principle whatsoever. They're only saying these things simply due to the fact that, you know, as expected, generally speaking, There's no principle behind any of this. They're just saying this because they can, right? And they've actively been fucking snubbed at this point. Liberals, of course, do not have any principled positions whatsoever. Here's Hakeem Jeffries. Nicolas Maduro is a criminal and authoritarian dictator who has oppressed the people of Venezuela for years. He's not the legitimate head of the government. Undoubtedly, the rule of law and democracy have broken down in Venezuela, and the people of that country deserve better. Sure. Donald Trump has the constitutional responsibility to follow the law and protect democratic norms in the United States. That is what putting America first requires. I don't know why we're adopting the sort of framing here. These motherfuckers have never been America first. They could give less of a flying fuck about America first. That shit's always been a fucking lie to begin with. Obviously, as expected from Hakeem Jeffries, he ain't gonna do shit about this. The Trump administration has not sought congressional authorization for the use of military force and has failed to properly notify Congress in advance of the operation in Venezuela. Well, there was a war powers resolution that was about to be passed in the House, but that motion fucking goddamn failed. And guess what? People within your fucking caucus, about 3 Democrats, voted in favor of stopping the war powers resolution that could have potentially stopped this fucking attempt at a regime change. Now, would it have stopped it? Maybe. But at the very least, Congress would have been like, hey, what the fuck is this? This is some fuck shit. And would have been able to do something about this. But whatever. The promotion of security and stability in a region requires more than just military force. As we painfully discovered in Iraq and Afghanistan, for far too many questions remain unanswered, including with respect to whether further military actions are planned. Yeah, they've pretty much it's half-baked. There's no plan. They're just doing random fucking bullshit. First, how many American troops remain on the ground in Venezuela? Second, what does America is going to run Venezuela until a judicious transition takes place mean? Okay, whatever. Again, never been any clear goals. Third, were these military strikes about seizing foreign oil to benefit friends of the Trump administration? I don't think it's about benefiting friends of the Trump administration. He just did this because he's like a fucking schizophrenic, but whatever. Fourth, why did Trump pardon the former Honduran president and narco-trafficker convicted in an American court of law, but is willing to take us to war in Venezuela in connection with similar allegations? Pursuant to the Constitution, the framers gave Congress the sole power to declare war as the branch of government closest to the American people. The House and the Senate must be briefed immediately and compelling evidence to explain and justify this unauthorized use of military force should be presented forthwith. Yeah, not gonna fucking happen. So as expected from Hakeem Jeffries, very, very fucking weak and ineffective response. Obviously, Chuck Schumer having a very, very fucking similar response. Let me be clear, Nicolas Maduro is a illegitimate dictator, but launching military action without congressional authorization, without a credible plan for what comes next, is reckless. Sure, I agree with that. The administration has assured me 3 separate times that it's not pursuing regime change or taking military action in Venezuela. Clearly, they are not being straight with Americans. Chuck, you don't need to point that out. That has always been the fucking case. Look at the cover up the fucking Epstein files. They're just saying this because they don't fucking respect you as a fucking leader. Because again, you twice, and I mean twice, decided to basically bungle a shutdown that the Democrats were in a very, very good position to essentially get concessions from the fucking Republican Party. So, again, nonsensical from Chuck. He doesn't give a fuck about any of this shit. The idea that Trump plans to now run Venezuela should strike fear in the heart of all Americans. The American people have seen this before and paid the devastating price. The administration must brief Congress immediately on its objectives and its plan to prevent a humanitarian and geopolitical disaster that plunges us into another endless war, or one that trades one corrupt dictator for another. He's not wrong about any of this, but here's the thing, Chuck. You're assuming too much of the administration. There's not a plan for any of this. Trump never plans for fucking anything whatsoever. This has always been about one thing and one thing only in the mind of the Trump administration, about trying to have like flexing of American hard power instead of doing American fucking soft power and doing diplomacy and using sort of, I don't know, like macho man machismo bullying to make, again, the sort of dying empire and American century of humiliation look exactly like it is, and a fucking century of humiliation. Dude, it's American century of humiliation and Chinese century of prosperity. Let's fucking go, dude. To distract from skyrocketing costs Americans face in the historic cover-up of the Epstein files, Donald Trump is attempting to throw the Americans into more international chaos and uncertainty. As expected from the leaders of the Democratic Party, sure, the words sound good, but this has basically no fucking bite to any of this. This is ultimately not going to lead anything. They're just doing the same thing that they always do. Tut, you shouldn't have fucking done this. Absolutely fucking not. This is actually a really bad thing. You should have let Congress know. They're never going to let Congress know. Given all the stuff with the Trump administration and unitary executive theory that was being basically... its seeds being planted during the Bush administration. The intention has always been incredibly fucking clear. They always wanted to make the president of the United States essentially be a fucking monarch, to be a king who can essentially do whatever the fuck he wants. And you dumbasses are not doing anything to rein in his power.
Be judicious, because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind.
Oh, by the way, most of those Venezuelan migrants came to America because of your idiotic fucking sanctions after your failed 2019 fucking coup.
We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it essentially until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have.
They weren't able to fucking sufficiently produce oil because you've been sanctioning them, you fucking dumbass motherfucker. You've been fucking sanctioning them, you stupid dumbass. Hello? Excuse me? Okay, bro. Nice meme.
Could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are...
By the way, the profit margins on this is going to be basically nothing. Again, as has been indicated before, the necessary facilities in order to be able to set up to begin to extract heavy fucking crude, which is, by the way, the exact same fucking crude that we have in our fucking tar sands, to set up the necessary infrastructure for that is going to take an incredibly fucking long time because you need a lot of special infrastructure. And you're going to be going in to a hostile environment where the people do not fucking want you, trying to set up these facilities to try to extract a minimal amount of oil that you yourself said that is fucking trash oil, and that you have the special facilities in order to be able to provide. It's like, why are we buying Venezuelan oil? I sanctioned them to try to cause the country to collapse so then we can take the oil, but their oil is fucking dog shit. It's like, well, which is it then? You don't want the oil because it's trash, but now you want the fucking oil because there's going to be some kind of economic benefit for this? Again, like I said before, to justify this extraction of material resources, because it's not just about oil, it's also about rare earth minerals. I believe Venezuela is a part of the lithium triangle. Large deposits of lithium are also exists within Venezuela to essentially try to set up the necessary extraction facilities to be able to set up all of this is going to be fucking bad.
Ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a
an
much bigger
actual
wave that
invasion.
probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate...
I don't know how many times Spee said, bro, your 2019 coup attempt and sanctions made them come into the United States. Okay, bro.
Dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison responsible for the deaths of countless Americans.
Obviously, we took a look at that fucking indictment. It's complete schizophrenic nonsense.
The many, many Americans, hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship they'll be heading to, ultimately, New York. And then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you also had, in addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over...
I don't know how many times this needs to be said to conservatives, but they will never take any responsibility for any of their fucking actions whatsoever. Again, I wonder why Venezuela might have been fucking unstable. It couldn't be because of the sanctions that you guys have been consistently hitting that country. No, it couldn't be because of that whatsoever. No. That would make a little too much sense. Again, and this is consistent with fucking conservatives, wholeheartedly incapable of taking responsibility for any of their actions.
In particular, the United States. Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang, Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide. And he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people they call police. They were brutal.
Bullshit, by the way. That's based off of the story of a fucking slumlord making the allegation that a bunch of Venezuelan migrants living in, again, their fucking slum sort of building that was not being maintained by their fucking landlord, which is against the law, by the way. But, you know, in municipal sort of law, that doesn't apply to these fucking giant corporate fucking landlords. That was a bunch of fucking bullshit that was being orchestrated and alleged by fucking landlords in order to forcibly evict a bunch of tenants by getting immigrations and customs enforcement in order to try to detain and deport those people. So then they could try to sell those fucking units or sell that land and the building to another sort of large corporate conglomerate, sort of like building manager, because they were going fucking bankrupt. This happens like all the time in the United States.
Brutal. They're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete, and everybody in our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly, and now we have no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago. A little bit of a different kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average, 2 a week in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're going. They're walking their daughters. They're walking their children, their wives. They walk to restaurants.
DC was having a historic low of crime. Again, I wonder why there was a large increase of crime within DC. COVID.
Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military. And I want to thank law enforcement. It's been amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in...
Yeah, apparently law enforcement also participated in this fucking goddamn raid against Venezuela, which is genuinely fucking insane. Like, why the fuck is law enforcement also participating in this shit? Like, that's really fucking weird. What, you had, like, FBI agents there or some shit? Like, genuinely fucking insane.
Tennessee right now, and crime is down. We just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana, and we have done that. It was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing, and we've only been there for 2.5 weeks. Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster, but it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there when they need us. We'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles.
Bullshit. No evidence to suggest that is the fucking case. And recently, the courts ruled that the actions of Donald Trump of the federalization of the fucking National Guard was completely unnecessary and also was illegal by the President of the United States and essentially accomplished fucking nothing. Yeah, Boy Meets Minnie, LA resident. Like, it was incredibly fucking dangerous because you had a bunch of fucking impetuous morons walking around with fucking guns. Very, very cool.
That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us to call, or we'll go back if we have to. We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's capital. We took it from being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country. But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned. Trinidad, and they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people, and now Maduro will never again be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years, I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives were so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really,
dude, you know, Hassan was correct, by the way, when his 2026 predictions were basically put out there. This is the one thing that I'm going to say he's definitely been right on. Because I guess he was completely wrong about the invasion of Venezuela, but whatever. It is what it is. Lying is just becoming more and more fucking overpowered. Like, it's super, super fucking OP. Because, again, everything that he's currently saying right now is just a complete, utter fucking lie. To debunk all this stuff is going to take a lot of fucking time, and we don't have that time right now. But basically, the courts have said his deployments of the National Guard were legal and unnecessary. Didn't have to fucking do any of that shit. The stuff that he is saying about the police chief saying that LA was going to be lost, no evidence to say that whatsoever. Every local official has said, like, yeah, I mean, the situation's under control, but you guys deploying the National Guard is only going to make everything worse. You guys deploying ICE is making everything fucking worse. So that's like, you guys are the current problem. That's what every fucking local official has said within LA and in California, but does the Trump administration care about any of that stuff? No, because they're a bunch of lawless freaks. Because Stephen Miller wants to go after everyone with with a little fucking brown skin.
The worst. One of the worst. They say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungary from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn Nungary. What happened to her? They, as you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Trinidad animals. They murdered Jocelyn and left her dead under the bridge. It was a bridge that will never be the same to so many people after seeing what happened. As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons, sent their worst and most violent monsters into the United States to steal American lives.
Still doesn't understand what asylum
mental institutions
means.
And insane asylums. They came from prisons and jails. The reason I say both, they sound...
Again, like, why did a bunch of Venezuelans come from Venezuela? Your fucking sanctions. Again, I'm going to keep reiterating this exact same fucking point. Your coup attempt in 2019, which was a failure, and then the follow-up fucking sanctions because of you being salty about that fucking coup attempt, led to the migration wave of a bunch of Venezuelans coming into America. But is that ever going to be acknowledged by Trump supporters? No, because they can't accept any fucking consequences for their actions.
Similar, actually, prisons, a little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions, they sent from their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers, they were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States. But no longer. And we have now a border where...
Brother, you pardoned a fucking associate of one of the biggest fucking drug kingpins on the fucking planet. Like, spare me it.
What he gets through. In addition, Venezuela unilaterally seized and sold American assets and American platforms, costing us billions and billions of dollars. They did this a while.
I can't believe that the people who voted for a socialist regime and that of Hugo Chavez... and people who wanted the nationalization of their resources so that they can be the main beneficiary of their own sort of economic productivity from those resources would fucking nationalize their resources. Doesn't Venezuela understand that we have national interests and business interests in their oil? Why would they do that? Crazy. Oh yeah, like, listen, there is problems with Bolivarian fucking socialism, right? Like, I'm not saying that Nicolas Maduro is good, but what Trump is doing here by essentially cutting off the head of the snake is only going to make things worse. A regime change is, again, we've seen this play out before. Unironically, this is Iraq 3, Electric fucking Boogaloo. We've seen this happen already, and it has not worked. Like, do these guys think that the third time's the fucking charm? No. Like, it's fucking nonsensical. This is not gonna work.
A while ago, but we never had a president that did anything about it. They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and
Says the guy who fucking drone strikes all the time in app. Okay, whatever.
skill. And the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, and we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it. America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation.
What? Is he saying that Venezuela was doing attack on, like, U.S. fucking border towns or some What the fuck are you talking about, bro? This is so fucking stupid, man. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Yeah, dude, fucking Tren de Aragua was given arms from, like, I don't know, what, the Chinese or the Russians or the Iranians or something in order to do attack on the American southern border. Fucking nonsensical. This is, like, schizo fucking bullshit.
Violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries, and not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines, and the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a real lot. They now call it the Donroe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen. So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing security threats in the Western Hemisphere. Under the Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way in our home region. And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago. The future will be, and we did this in my first term.
So, by the way, the reason why Trump is focusing specifically on the home region here is because he still believes in the antiquated Monroe fucking doctrine, right? For whatever reason, because American media and himself have also been saying that there's fucking Hamas operating and Hezbollah operating within fucking Venezuela. Complete fabrications. Damn, I had no idea that Hamas managed to dig a tunnel from fucking Gaza all the way to Venezuela in order to, I don't know, provide their Qassam brigades in order to defend Venezuela from American imperialism. Totally, bro. Yeah, absolutely. That's a thing that's really, really fucking happening. It's nonsensical. It's stupid. It's just, again, throw everything possible in order to manufacture consent in the minds of the American people for a regime change war within Venezuela. Again, this is ultimately going to fucking accomplish nothing and will only seek to further destabilize the region and Venezuela. I thought we cared about fucking regional stability, conservatives. What happened? I guess not. I guess that's completely irrelevant to these people.
We had great dominance in my first term, and we have far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to protect commerce and territory and resources that are core to national security. These are core to our national security. Just like tariffs are, they made our country rich, and they've made our national security stronger than ever before. But these
again, complete fabrication.
are the iron laws that have always determined global power, and we're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders, we'll stop the terrorists, we will crash the cartels, and we will defend our citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic. Other presidents may have lacked the courage or whatever to defend America, but I will never allow terrorists and criminals to operate with impunity against the United States. This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The American...
So the embargo is gonna fucking continue despite the fact that you just caused a power vacuum in the area for no reason. Again, so fucking stupid, man. Again, what's going to stop? Like you're saying, Boy Meets Mini, India and Sri Lanka airstriking Tamils again. What's gonna stop China from potentially doing something like this within Taiwan? The word of America is worth literally fucking diddly fucking squat. This is all just pure Monroe Doctrine fucking bullshit. For what exactly? Because he wants to get some fucking goddamn oil. It's completely nonsensical.
Armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen to them if they aren't just fair, even to their people. The dictator and terrorist, Maduro, is finally gone in Venezuela. People are free. They're free again. It's been a long time for them, but they're free. America is a safer nation. This morning, It's a prouder nation this morning because it didn't allow this horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us. It didn't allow it to happen. And the Western Hemisphere is right now a much safer place to be. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank General Raisin Kane. He's a fantastic man. I've worked with a lot of generals. I worked with some I didn't like. I worked with some I didn't respect. I worked with some that just weren't good. But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night one of the most precise attacks on sovereignty. I mean, it was an attack for justice. And I'm very proud of him. And I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who I'm going to ask to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Can you explain how the U.S. will run Venezuela? Well, thank you, Mr. President. Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects and the American people deserve. And as the President said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such a man. And I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America, and again, President Trump has your back. No other country.
Yeah, dude, of course this fucking drunkard rapist over here who got divorced like 5 fucking goddamn times is gonna say, like, guys, we're gonna vice signal and talk about how this was totally the best thing possible for us to do. Absolutely. This is totally not going to fucking fail for us in any way, shape, or form. This is totally going to work out for this. We're not falling for it again, bros.
Country on planet Earth, and it's not even close to pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve. The most powerful combination the world has ever seen. As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can reject our will.
Oh yeah, by the way, these guys pretended to be fucking populists. Well, it turns out fucking full of shit. They all ended up being fucking neocons all over again. Listen, this shit right here is heavily evoking George Bush. Again, Iraq 3 electric boogaloo shit.
Anywhere, anytime. The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on full display in the middle of the night. Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance. Until they didn't, and until he didn't. He effed around, and he found out. President Trump is deadly serious.
Yeah, dude, he fucked around and found out while you guys were, like, schizophrenically just bombing a bunch of fucking goddamn narco boats that you were alleging were fucking narco boats. Yeah, bro, totally. Yeah, you guys are... Nicolas Maduro was the one who was, like, fucking around and finding out while the fucking United States of America was illegally, and I'm going to say again, illegally bombing a bunch of boats in international waters. Based off of what exactly? Oh, guys, they have drugs, so we're just going to bomb the shit out of them first. And then ask questions later, even though the first initial boat on September 2nd, that Pete Hegseth himself basically said do a double tap of, make sure there are no fucking survivors, essentially co-signing the double tapping a strike on that fucking boat, was not headed for the United States of America and was headed for fucking Sumatra and was looking to distribute fucking drugs into Europe. Nice fucking meme, dude.
Serious about stopping the flow of gangs and violence to our country. Deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison to our people. Deadly serious about getting back the oil that was stolen from us. And deadly serious about reestablishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere.
I can't believe that Venezuela stole American oil within their own borders. I can't believe this.
This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people. This is America first. This is peace through strength. And the United States War Department is proud to help deliver it. Welcome to 2026. And under President Trump, America is back. I'd like to welcome now our Chairman Raisin Kane, to give a few more details about the operation, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. Last night, on the order of the President of the United States, and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, as the President said, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice 2 indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro. This operation, known as Operation Absolute Resolve, was discreet, precise, and conducted during the darkest hours of January 2nd, and was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal, an operation that, frankly, only the United States military could undertake. What I'd like to do this morning is talk you through some of the preparation and the details without compromising any of our tactics, techniques, and procedures. There is always a chance that we'll be tasked to do this type of mission again. Our interagency...
Yeah, dude, we're gonna go in and we're gonna randomly kidnap another world leader yet again. We're just gonna fucking do it. Because again, no justification for this, no congressional approval. They just fucking did this because they're just like, fuck it, whatever, who cares? We can just do this because we have the current president that's in power. Marco Rubio wants to do it. Everyone else wants to do it. And fuck it, the president doesn't give really much of a shit about this. So we're just gonna go in and just kidnap a dude randomly. Very cool.
Agency work began months ago and built on decades of experience of integrating complex air, ground, space, and maritime operations. While the past 2 decades have honed the skills of our special operations forces, this particular mission required every component of our joint force, with soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians working in unison with our intelligence agency partners and law enforcement teammates in an unprecedented operation. We leveraged our unmatched intelligence capabilities and our years of experience in hunting terrorists, and we could not have done this mission without the incredible work by various intelligence agencies, including the CIA, NSA, and NGA. We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional. This mission was meticulously planned, drawing lessons from decades of missions over the last many years, many missions over these last many years. This was an audacious operation that only the United States could do. It required the utmost of precision and integration within our joint force. And the word integration does not explain the sheer complexity of such a mission. An extraction so precise, it involved more than 150 aircraft launching across the Western Hemisphere in close coordination, all coming together in time and place to layer effects.
America first, by the way. The pro-peace, by the way. The pro-peace sort of candidate and pro-peace sort of fucking president who can just, like, randomly just go in and fucking kidnap people. Again, like, this completely just makes the United States look incredibly fucking uncredible on the world stage. Because what's to fucking stop from China fucking doing this? What's to stop any other world leader from just kidnapping someone else and doing an operation like this? What's to stop, for example, Thailand, like, kidnapping the leader of fucking Cambodia, because they're currently having a bunch of fucking border skirmishes? What's to stop this from, like, say, the Sri Lankans, like, just randomly fucking kidnapping leaders of the fucking Tamils? What's gonna stop this? Again, the fucking the permission structure is currently in place. If you just want to go in and randomly fucking kidnap people illegally, fuck it, who cares? You can just do it.
For a single purpose, to get an interdiction force into downtown Caracas while maintaining the element of tactical surprise. Failure of one component of this well-oiled machine would have endangered the entire mission, and failure is never an option for America's joint force. Those in the air over Caracas last night were willing to give their lives for those on the ground and in the helicopters. Let me talk a little bit about the preparation. After months of work by our intelligence teammates to find Maduro and understand how he moved, where he lived, where he traveled, what he ate, what he wore, what were his pets, in early December, our force was set pending a series of aligned events. Key was choosing the right day to minimize the potential for civilian harm and maximize the element of surprise, and minimize the harm to the indicted personnel so, as the president said, they could be brought to justice. And as the president said earlier today, weather in Venezuela is always a factor this time of the year. And over the weeks through Christmas and New Year's, the men and women of the United States military sat ready, patiently waiting for the right triggers to be met and the president to order us into action. Last night, the weather...
Yeah, what fucking... Yeah, right triggers, bro. Like, Nicolas Maduro sneezed in a funny way. We're just gonna go ahead and fucking kidnap him now. Okay, bro. Nice meme.
Broke just enough, clearing a path that only the most skilled aviators in the world could maneuver through. Ocean, mountain, low cloud ceilings. But
by the way, all of this is just incredibly fucking masturbatory in order to appease the fucking Mad King that's currently in power right now. They're basically just being like, fuck it, you know, we're just gonna randomly fucking kidnap people and claim a bunch of goddamn oil because Venezuela stole it. And apparently they're distributing a bunch of drugs. Stupid. Very fucking stupid.
Tasked with a mission, this organization does not quit. At 10:46 p.m. Eastern Time last night, the President ordered the United States military to move forward with this mission. He said to us, and we appreciate it, Mr. President, good luck and Godspeed, and those words were transmitted to the entire joint force. Over the course of the night, aircraft began launching from 20 different bases on land and sea across the Western Hemisphere. In total, more than 150 aircraft, bombers, fighters, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, rotary wing were in the air last night. Thousands and thousands of hours of experience were airborne. Our youngest crew member was 20, and our oldest crew member was 49, and there's simply no match for American military might.
Oh, dude, the ages. We're not ages, guys.
And began their flight into Venezuela at 100 feet above the water. As they approached Venezuelan shores, the United States began layering different effects provided by Spacecom, Cybercom, and other members of the interagency to create a pathway. Overhead, those forces were protected by aircraft from the United States Marines, the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, and the Air National Guard. The force included F-22s, F-35s, F-18s, EA-18s, E-2s, B-1 bombers, and other support aircraft, as well as numerous remotely piloted drones. As the force began to approach Caracas, the joint air component began dismantling and disabling the air defense systems in Venezuela, employing weapons to ensure the safe passage of the helicopters into the target area. The goal of our air component is, was, and always will be to protect the helicopters and the ground force and get them to the target and get them home. As the force crossed the last point of high terrain where they'd been hiding in the clutter, we assessed that we had maintained totally the element of surprise. As the helicopter force ingressed towards the objective at low level, we arrived at Maduro's compound at 1:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 2:01 a.m. Caracas local time, and the apprehension force descended into Maduro's compound and moved with speed, precision, and discipline towards their objective and isolated the area to ensure the safety and security of the ground force while apprehending the indicted persons. On arrival into the target area, the helicopters came under fire, and they replied with that fire with overwhelming force and self-defense. One of our aircraft was hit, but remained flyable, and as the president said earlier today, all of our aircraft came home, and that aircraft remained flyable during the rest of the mission. As the operation unfolded at the compound, our air and ground intelligence teams provided real-time updates to the ground force, ensuring those forces could safely navigate the complex environment without unnecessary risk. The force remained protected by overhead tactical aviation. Maduro and his wife, both indicted, gave up, and were taken into custody by the Department of Justice, assisted by our incredible U.S. military with professionalism and precision, with no loss of U.S. life. After securing the indicted persons, the force began to prep for departure. Helicopters were called in to exfiltrate the extraction force, while fighter aircraft and remotely piloted aircraft provided overhead coverage. As we stand here this morning,
I don't care about this like master. Yeah, I don't give a shit about any of this like masturbation specifically here by this dumb fucking general fucking stooge, this West Point fucking psychopath over here. Oh, dude. Our military did such a good job. Yo, I'm jerking off. Yeah, by the way, American lives. We care about American lives. Boy meets Minnie, they don't give a fuck about fucking Venezuelan lives. None of that shit fucking matters in particular. Who gives a fuck about Venezuelans? I think 44 Venezuelans died during these fucking operations. That's pretty cool. Very, very fantastic. Or no, 44 were injured, I believe. The casualty counts might have been updated, but a bunch of people fucking died because of the reckless U.S. fucking operations basically being done for no reason. Because again, I don't know, Donald Trump decided to roll out of bed and say oh, there's drugs. He's a drug kingpin, Nicolas Maduro, even though I pardoned a drug kingpin myself. I don't care about the American operation. All right, Little Marco, what do you have for me?
Recognize him. He's not recognized by the European Union and multiple countries around the world. He is a fugitive of American justice with a $50 million reward, which I guess we say $50 million. And
which you just decided to randomly put on there, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But
don't let anybody claim it. Nobody deserves it but us.
But I want to be clear about one thing.
You guys are the ones who just randomly put that fucking bounty on Nicolas Maduro's head. You just did that unilaterally. Okay, bro. Nice meme.
Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw today.
What the fuck are you talking about? There are multiple instances of Maduro saying he wanted to fucking talk and negotiate, and Trump never gave that opportunity. Ever. What the fuck are you talking about? Maduro decided to fuck around and find out, play around like a wild man. No, you motherfuckers just wanted this regime change war. You just wanted a fucking war for what expressive purpose exactly? Because the U.S. is a dying empire, and in order to try to hold on to their fleeting power on the world stage, they decide to just randomly bomb and do economic fucking coercion on the Venezuelans. That's literally it.
Tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world that like to play games, you have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to do the confiscation of American oil companies, he's going to flood our country with gang members.
Shut the fuck up, you stupid I wonder why the Venezuelans might be trying to talk with the Iranians, the Russians, and the Chinese instead. Because of your incredibly fucking hostile actions, you dumbass motherfucker. I wonder why the Venezuelans might not be very particularly friendly to us. Because their people voted to depose the military dictatorship that you dumbasses fucking imposed. They decided to nationalize their resources. Again, this is stuff that the Venezuelans themselves wanted to do. They decided that all of them, for all of their fucking, through their own will, through voting, through unironically deposing the fucking goddamn military dictatorship that used to be in fucking Venezuela. They decided that for themselves. You got fucking mad about it because you weren't able to enforce, again, American business interests in the region.
Is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all the time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope people...
Buddy, I wonder why there was a bunch of prisoners during the fucking Biden administration that had to be fucking exchanged. You are the ones who did the 2019 fucking coup attempt, which got fucking caught out. They got thrown into jail for attempting to do a coup, you stupid motherfucker. But yeah, this is Nicolas Maduro playing around with people's lives. Shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch.
Well, now understand is we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when he tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years.
Okay, then where's the release of the Epstein files? I'm just saying.
Has been around. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. This is a president of action. I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out.
Of course.
And now if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And if he says he's serious about something, he means it.
Oh,
and
I'm
this is something
sure.
that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States, and the president addressed it. This is a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think that the message here should be for the world. But the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody, but don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
The U.S. is going to run Venezuela, so who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but it's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it's just a minor flow. It's actually a minor flow for what they have. But we're going to run it properly. We're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, they always say boots on the ground. So we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that...
Again, what difference is this from Iraq? It's all the exact same shit. It's just fucking regime change. And all the fucking NPCs are just going to fucking defend it every single time.
Could have gone very, very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot.
Oh,
we're
I'm
going to make
sure
sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right. It's going to be run very judiciously, very fairly. It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of. We're going to take care of everybody. It's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. They stole our oil. We built that whole industry there, and they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it.
I don't know how many times this has to be said. The Venezuelan people voted and decided to nationalize their resources through their fucking vote after they deposed the military dictatorship that existed there. That was the decision of the Venezuelan people. I don't know how many times this needs to be said, but unfortunately, Trump conservatives do not care about the will of the people. They do not seek to represent anyone. They only seek to rule.
So we did something about it. We're late, but we did something about it. Yeah, please.
We did something about it.
Mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate U.S. officials to
Yes,
coordinate?
it's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
That would run Venezuela.
Well, it's largely going to be, for a period of time, the people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead, you're not talking about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country.
Damn, I thought oh man, this is, again, it's echoing the exact same shit that with the board of directors or whatever that this motherfucker's on the head of for Gaza specifically, for the ceasefire. It's echoing that rhetoric exactly. It's not going to ultimately amount to fucking anything. It's not going to produce more equitable outcomes for the people of Venezuela, just like how it's not producing more equitable outcomes for the people of Gaza.
Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're a country doing better than any country anywhere in the world.
We're doing so well, folks.
It required leadership. Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there, a lot of bad people that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance at one of those people.
We're doing so well, folks. Don't pay attention to groceries. Don't pay attention to the unemployment rate. Don't pay attention to the labor market. Don't pay attention to the obvious recession that's going on economically. It's all tariffs. It's fixing everything, folks.
Or Maduro. So you can look at, and others, we have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement for people in our country that were forced out of Venezuela.
You said earlier today that you weren't going to back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship
Well, I
going?
understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially...
Yeah, that's pretty fucking normal. You just kidnap the fucking president. It makes sense the vice president would take over right after. That's pretty fucking normal. What the hell are you guys gonna do about it? Another fucking invasion? You're just going to invade? Keep invading? Okay, bro. Nice meme.
willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
Mr. President, Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So, what are your messages?
Well, he has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And yeah, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his ass.
No evidence of this whatsoever. Yeah, Gustavo Petro is the main guy making all the fucking cocaine that goes into the United States of America. Guys, let's not talk about the crack cocaine epidemic of 1980s. Guess who fucking helped orchestrate that shit? Oh. It was fucking Reagan who orchestrated that shit. Nice fucking meme, dude. Yeah, cocaine barrels, by the way. Yeah. Whatever.
Did you notify any members of Congress in advance?
Marco, do you want to talk about that? Because you were involved in it.
We call members of Congress immediately after. This was not the kind of mission that you can do congressional notification on. It was a trigger-based mission in which conditions had to be met night after night. We watched and monitored that for a number of days. So it's just simply not...
Doesn't fucking matter. That is illegal. You still have to notify Congress if you are doing stuff like this. You have to say, like, I don't know, like in a fucking email. You just decided to do this randomly in the middle of the night and just kidnap fucking Nicolas Maduro. You guys are liars. This is blatantly fucking illegal. This is illegal under international law, and this is illegal under U.S. law. This is just blatantly fucking illegal actions here by the Trump administration.
Kind of mission you can call people and say, hey, we may do this at some point in the next 15 days, but it's largely a law enforcement function. Remember, at the end of the day, at its core, this was an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives of American justice, and the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policies.
Yeah, we made a schizophrenic indictment in order to justify our regime change.
Here, but it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
Oh, I'm sure.
So if I can add one thing to that, Congress has a tendency to leak. This would not be good. If they leaked, General, I think it would have been maybe a very different result. But
well, yeah, because again, what you're trying to do is fucking illegal. So they're going to tell the press about it and being like, yeah, what we're trying to do is illegally fucking kidnap the leader of a sovereign nation.
I have to say, they knew we were coming at some point, you know. A lot of ships out there, they sort of knew we were coming. We wasn't. But Congress will leak, and we don't want leakers.
You were one of the only people to watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing?
By the way, Congress is not the only fucking people who leak. People within the White House leak all the fucking time.
When the U.S. forces entered what I assume would be his home? And also, was there any point where the U.S. was considering if Maduro pushed back or resisted killing Maduro?
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. You know, the safe places, all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast. And there was a lot of opposition. You know, people were wondering, do we get him by surprise? Sort of surprise, but they were waiting for something. It was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of gunfire. You saw some of it today. But he was trying to...
Yeah, mostly from American fucking helicopters. Like, the fuck are you talking about? Like... From what I recall in the reports, they were just like randomly fucking shooting at people who were getting in the way. Like, okay, bro, nice meme. Yeah, a lot of gunfire. No, this was a complete fucking surprise attack. No, like, Nicolas Maduro was not expecting this. He, like, literally, there was a report within Reuters where Nicolas Maduro was saying, like, I am willing to have serious talks with the United States of America. They have just not been open to it. Again, constantly indicated that he is willing to fucking talk about the problems that, I don't know, Venezuela, being open to fucking U.S. investment within Venezuelan fucking oil. You just wanted to do the fucking regime change because you wanted to look like a fucking macho man on the main stage. That's it.
To get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds, they say on average, regardless of how thick the steel was. It was
47 seconds,
door, but he was
so
unable
fast.
to get to that door. He made it to the door, he was unable to close it. Go ahead, finish.
Where is Maduro going to be in the time being right now? Do you know his exact
Well,
location?
eventually, ultimately, in the near future, he's going to be brought to New York.
And where is he going to be held? Where is he going to be held in New York? Do you know?
That's going to be up to the officials that do these things.
Mr. President, the U.S. has something of a mixed track record of ousting dictators without necessarily a plan for what comes afterwards. Did that weigh on your
Well, that's
decision?
why we have different presidents, but with me, that's not true. With me, we've had a perfect track record of winning. We win a lot, and we win. If you look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, you look at the Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer was incredible. Right now, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. We have essentially peace in the Middle East because of that. If we weren't successful with Midnight Hammer, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. So with me, you've had a lot of victory. You've had only victories. You've had no losses. Yeah.
President, can you? How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how soon do you want Venezuelan people to hold the
So I'd like to do it quickly, but it takes a period of time. You know, we're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. The infrastructure is rotted. It's actually very dangerous. It's blow up territory. Oil is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to take out of the ground. It can kill a lot of people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that we can take care of the country. Yeah.
Are you saying that Secretary Rubio and
Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them
Well,
when
in
it comes
terms
to
of
oil and
China
drugs?
and Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to get it. In other words, we'll be selling oil, probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now. But I would say many more will come.
Again, it's all going to be the exact same fucking goddamn repeated fucking talking points. It's just nonsensical, dude. Yeah, dude, we're going to be selling so much fucking oil. Yeah, dude, totally.
Are you saying that, Mr. President? Are you saying that? Oh.
Mr. President, thank you. What is your message to the people of Venezuela today? Of course, the civilian population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of
You're
Venezuela?
going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time was stolen from you. But you're going to have peace and you're going to have safety. You're going to have justice. You're going to have a country. You're going to have a real country. You're going to have potentially a great country. You know, if you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country. And they destroyed it. Remember I said that if we lose this election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what would have happened. Had we lost the election, the 2024 election,
Totally,
we suffered
bro.
so badly. When you look at the border from 2020, what they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was in terms. I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids, and that's what would happen.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth?
Nonsensical, fucking obviously. Like, I don't know how many times this has to be fucking said. This is just essentially just a bunch of fucking goddamn regime change fucking bullshit. There's no standards for any of this. They just blatantly did a fucking attack for no reason.
Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military
There's
troops
going
to
to be a team
provide?
that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro, and right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn in as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but She really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have this done right. We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else leave and say, let it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil companies in the world go in and invest billions and billions of dollars and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And also, I can't stress this strongly enough, the people that got thrown out of Venezuela that are now in the United States, and frankly, some want to stay and some probably want to go back, yeah.
To protect Americans in the country, and were any of the detained Americans?
Well, right now they're very protected because nobody's going to mess with us. They're very protected. The people of, and we let them know that.
No one's going to mess with us, folks.
Are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are. We're on them. And they're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago. Okay, wait, behind you, please.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world. And we want to make sure.
I don't know, bro. That doesn't sound very fucking America first to me, bro. Like, again, dying and like the same page. I'm just gonna keep reiterating the same points over and over again. Dying empire. It's complete fucking bullshit. This is not going to go anywhere. It's nonsense.
We can protect it. Yes, sir. Please, go ahead.
Is there a message for Cuba and Diaz-Canel?
Well, Cuba's an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now. That system has not been a very good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation. And we want to help the people. It's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about, when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. Suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men, and in some cases, not senile, but incompetent nonetheless. It has no economy. It's in total...
Dumbass, it's because you guys keep fucking sanctioning, which every fucking nation in the UN, except for, well, the Argentinians who just lick your fucking boots, and the Israelis, say that the embargo on Cuba should be fucking lifted.
Collapse. And by the way, they were, all the guards that helped protect Maduro, this is well known, their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. I mean, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba. They tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, I lived in
fucking retarded, by the way. This is the most, baby sort of interpretation here by fucking Marco Rubio. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, dude. Cuba is colonizing Venezuela because Venezuela sent the Cubans a bunch of oil because they don't agree with the fucking U.S.'s embargo regime that's still on fucking play. It's fucking stupid. Nonsensical.
Havana, I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
This is just an excuse, again, for Marco Rubio for more war. That's it. He just wants more war. War with, literally anyone. He wants war with the Iranians. He wants war with Venezuela. He wants war with Cuba. There is not a war that Marco Rubio has not been a fan of.
Well, the president already announced a week ago that anything that's sanctioned oil, it's not going to be allowed to get there. So that's a pre-existing.
The answer is yes. Yes.
Are the U.S. aware of the location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't.
On Monday.
I think it'd be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within, or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect.
Then why the fuck are you going ahead with this stupid fucking regime change to begin with if you directly acknowledge that Maria Corina Machado does not have the fucking support within the country itself? Again, non-fucking sensical. There was no point to doing this dumbass fucking war. They just want to fucking rob the country of oil. Again, very much so evoking Bush here. It's nonsensical.
Ends up administrating Venezuela for years.
Well, it won't cost us anything because the money coming out of the ground is very substantial, so it's not going to cost us anything. We want safety there. We want to be surrounded by countries that aren't housing all of our enemies all over the world. That's what that was happening, and you don't want to have that. But we're going to be rebuilding, and we're not spending money. The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago. A lot of money is coming out of the ground. We're going to get reimbursed for all of that. We're going to get reimbursed for everything that we spend. So it's going to be very important. It's going to be very important. This is a very big evening that took place last night. We have to be surrounded by safe, secure countries, and we also have to have energy. Very important. We have to have energy that's real energy, not where they're getting 4% and 5% of the energy out of the ground. You take a look, it was such a disaster. So what's going to happen with Venezuela, I think, over the next period of a year is going to be a great thing. And the people of Venezuela will be the biggest beneficiaries.
U.S. military. Mr. President, what did you last speak to Maduro about when you spoke? And is
Well, I don't want to get into the conversations, but I did have conversations with him, and I said, you got to surrender. And I actually thought he was pretty close to doing so, but now he wished he did, yeah.
You said that Maduro was responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras, who you convicted of many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations
Well, I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What demand that I pardon?
Oh, so we're not going to directly address that blatant fucking hypocrisy? We're just going to pretend it's not a thing? Okay, dude. Nice meme.
If you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was out of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them.
Buddy, he fucking got indicted alongside the fucking Honduran government. The Honduran government also agreed with prosecuting fucking Orlando Hernandez is saying that he facilitated incredibly corrupt fucking drug trafficking trades, not only through fucking Honduras, but also within the United States of America. They agreed to fucking send him to jail. But now, like, just like, you know, because he's buddies with all these, like, right-wing fucking dipshits, and because he said that he liked Trump, obviously, in the mind of Trump, it's actually incredibly corrupt. It was all done by the Democrats, despite the fact that he did facilitate something incredibly fucking illegal. Again, like I said before, never about fucking drugs. Always about regime change.
And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won, so obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing behind me, and they felt that man was persecuted and treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
You referenced boots on the ground earlier. Can you just sort of button this up? Do you envision the U.S. military having a presence in Venezuela as the U.S. runs that?
Well, no, we're going to have a presence in Venezuela as it pertains to oil, because we're sending our expertise in, so you may need something, not very much. But no, we're going to be taking out a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground, and that wealth is going to the people of Venezuela and people from outside of Venezuela that used to be in Venezuela.
Yeah, dude, totally. Yeah, I totally fucking believe that the supposed wealth that you're going to extract, so much of it that you're going to fucking extract, is going to go to the people of Venezuela. Dumbass. The fucking Venezuelan oil industry was already nationalized. That wealth was already going to the Venezuelan people. Again, it's just a lie. It's all lies with him.
And it goes also to the United States of America in the form of reimbursement for the damages caused us by that country. So I want to thank you all very much. Thank you. Do you have one? Yes, please. You were so nice before. I'm going to give you the final question.
Thank you, Mr.
Unless it's a bad question, in which case I'll go one word.
It's about Putin. If you want.
About Putin. Well,
Okay. You had a phone
Oh boy, I love
with him
Putin.
on Monday. Did he talk at all about Maduro? Did y'all talk about this?
No, we didn't. We never spoke about Maduro.
Are you mad at him right now? I mean, there's this.
I'm not thrilled with Putin. I'm not thrilled with Putin. He's killing too many people. I thought that would be so. I settled 8 1/4 war. You know what the 1/4 was? Thailand and Cambodia. I did it again. They broke out, and I did it in about 5 hours. And I settled it. I'm giving myself 1/4, so I'm up to now 8 1/4. In other words, I settled the war, but then they broke out. They had a pretty bad breakout over the last 4 days. I got them to go back to peace, so I only gave
Obviously
1/4. I thought the easiest one would be
sensible, but
one of the easier ones would be Russia, Ukraine. It's not, and they both have done some pretty bad things. And look, that's Biden's war. That's not my war. But I want to stop the lives. Did you see where last month 30,000? It was 27,000 the month before. 30,000, mostly soldiers, were killed this last month. 30,000. I want to stop that. You know, I got NATO to pay 5% instead of the 2% that they weren't paying. They weren't paying 2%, now they pay 5%. And we send them a lot of munitions, we send them a lot of things, missiles and various other things, a lot. And they pay. The United States is not losing money. We're probably making money on that. It's the last thing I care about. I just want to stop all those people. We're losing 25, 30,000 human beings that come from two places that are very far away. But if I can stop, because it's something I've been pretty good at doing, deals, I guess. It's all a deal. Life is a big deal. But if I can stop that war.
Again, we don't have to fucking mention about his fucking stupid sort of like peace deals. There's no evidence to suggest that he even got even one of I think he maybe only got like one of those deals done. Everything else is just a fucking lie. It doesn't matter. He's just gonna say this again to saber rattle. By the way, not the saber rattle, but the vice signal. By the way, if you thought that it was going to be all limited specifically to just Venezuela, here's Trump also saying that he is probably thinking about doing regime change in fucking Mexico now to go after the fucking cartels there.
I wonder, Mr. President, I want to ask you because from your Vice President, J.D. Vance, said that the message is pretty clear. The drug trafficking must stop. So was this operation a message that you're sending to Mexico, to Claudia Sheinbaum, the president there?
Well, it wasn't meant to be, and we're very friendly with her. She's a good woman, but the cartels are running Mexico. She's not running Mexico. The cartels are running Mexico.
Again, there's zero, and I mean zero fucking evidence that this is the case. Just because the cartels have taken over some fucking cities within the more remote parts of the fucking goddamn country, which the Mexicans have been trying to deploy their fucking goddamn forces in order to be able to deal with that, but they keep getting a bunch of American arms smuggled within Mexico. So again, out of control fucking American arms manufacturing causing instability within the within Central America. I am sure I am fucking shocked. And that's what's basically making it difficult for the Mexicans to be able to crack down on fucking drug cartels.
And we could be politically correct and be nice and say, oh, yes, she is. No, she's very, she's very frightened of the cartels. They're running Mexico. And I've asked her numerous times, would you like us to take out the cartels? No, Mr. President. No, please.
Well, no, that's because you kept saying that you're going to put troops on the ground in order to do this. That's why That's why Claudia Sheinbaum does not want you to fucking take out the cartels, because you're going to bomb the shit out of them. And it's just like, that's not going to help. It's only going to make things worse.
So we have to do something, because we lost. The real number is 300,000 people, in my opinion. You know, they like to say 100,000. 100,000 is a lot of people, but the real number is 300,000 people. And we lost it to drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada, too, by the way, in case you don't know. But they come in through the southern border, and something's going to have to be done with Mexico.
We need to do something about Mexico. So again, manufacturing consent for another fucking regime change war. Oh, well, here's Asmongold, basically fucking supporting Trump. He's back on the fucking goddamn Trump train after saying that he doesn't want to be a part of the Trump train anymore because of the Epstein file. What happened, Asmongold? You decided to change your tune real quick.
There's nobody that has the capability that we have. You know, when I watch that war in Russia going on and on and on and everybody dying, it's like, it's primitive. It's primitive. It's horrible. It's really horrible.
Could you tell it?
Oh my God. Wow. So, will this change your opinion on voting on Trump? Well, I mean, if he keeps this up for the next 3 years, maybe I would vote for him again, right? I mean, this is going pretty well. This is...
No standards, belief in fucking nothing. There has never been any sort of, like, a belief for someone like fucking Asmongold. For him, it's all fucking vibes-based, and if, generally speaking, he can just cause the general state of the world to be worse and worse and worse, Asmongold will gladly accept that challenge.
This is why I want you to do this on the first day. This is cool. We have a lot of domestic enemies I wish we'd focus on. I think that's a fair criticism, and you're right to think that. Like, you know, we have a lot of problems here in the U.S. We need to focus on that too, and not just think about, like, you know, regime change in Venezuela. But the reality is that Venezuela is an existential threat to America. It absolutely is. Whenever you have...
What the fuck are you talking about? Existential threat? Venezuela to America. Well, I didn't know that Venezuela has nuclear fucking weapons capable of hitting the U.S. fucking mainland. What are you talking about? What, because they allegedly make a bunch of drugs within Venezuela? What kind of fucking schizophrenic fucking nonsense is this? Yeah, existential fucking threat. Yeah, my fucking ash cheeks are an existential threat to all the fucking honeys on online or some shit. Okay, bro. Nice fucking meme, bro.
Have a cartel government that is based around running drugs and weapons and human trafficking inside of the United States.
Genuinely fucking complete schizophrenic fucking analysis here by Asmongold. Zero evidence to say this is the case. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, bro. An existential fucking threat, and they're running fucking drugs and weapons into the United States of America. A genuinely fucking insane analysis here. Analysis here by fucking Asmongold. Actually fucking insane.
This is very clearly a problem for us. Like, this is it. It's not like they're sitting over there in their own area just killing each other. No, absolutely not. They go and they're doing it all over the fucking... They're doing it all over the world. They're doing it over here. We can't let that happen. What are you talking about? So...
What are you fucking talking about? What evidence is there to suggest that, I don't know, random roving bands of Venezuelans are being deployed by the state in order to just randomly kill people? Like, Nicolas Maduro decided to order a bunch of Venezuelans to go around and become little, like, gallivanting murder goblins, saying, like, oh, here I go, murdering a bunch of people just because Nicolas Maduro told me I can just go murder a bunch of fucking people. So, again, like, how do you engage with this? Largest fucking political commentator on the fucking platform. Ladies, gentlemen, and those in between.
So, yeah. The world should be thanking us for getting rid of them as a potential source of nuclear... Damn, I don't know why I can't talk. The world should be thanking us for getting rid of them as a potential source for nuclear escalation. Absolutely, you're right. 100% you are. You remember whenever Trump bombed Iran?
Stupid.
And he just totally wiped out their nuclear system? Like, the entire place looked like it changed the geography of the entire area.
By the way, that's a fucking lie. It did not change the entire geography of the fucking area. And every fucking expert said that it caused a delay of about a few months. The facilities are back up. The facilities are now currently running again and trying to enrich nuclear material once again. Because guess what? A few months passed ever since that strike. And now guess what? Israel has been fucking signaling to do, Asmongold. Oh, they want to fucking bomb Iran again. They want to bomb the same fucking sites. Again, non-fucking sensical.
Area. There were not even any photos of it. You couldn't even see it. And it's like you could see a difference with a fucking satellite, and you didn't even know where the building was. And so anyway, all this happened, and then everybody's, oh, they're gonna retaliate, they're gonna fight back. Did they? After Iran, did anything happen? No, they didn't do shit.
They bombed the fuck out of Israel, you stupid motherfucker. What are you saying? They hit a bunch of differing. They hit a bunch of fucking Air Force bases. They hit a bunch of Iron Dome sites. They hit up the Israeli fucking intelligence agency in fucking Tel Aviv. What are you saying? There was a retaliatory strike against Israel, dumbass, and they did some fucking like little virtue signal strike on an American air base that they talked about with the Americans, saying like, yeah, we're going to retaliate on this specific airbase at this specific time. Again, like, non-fucking sensical analysis here by fucking Asmongold. This is stupid.
They didn't do a fucking thing. So this is exactly what's going to happen with this too. 100%. Who's next? President of Colombia? The president of Colombia, apparently Trump said he better watch his ass. Hassan's mental gymnastics are very tiring. Well, the thing is that, do you remember what I said?
Fucking Hassan's mental gymnastics? Buddy, you just literally tried to fucking say that the fucking Venezuelans are shipping drugs, weapons, and fucking crime around in the fucking region. What are you fucking talking about? But yeah, let's just focus on Hassan's mental gymnastics on this specific... Again, non-fucking sensical. This is genuinely fucking insane here.
The viewpoint is always the less Western, less white, less Christian, less American, less, like Western...
Venezuelan is fucking Catholic, you idiot! Yeah, less Christian, by the way. Not the Catholic nation of fucking goddamn Venezuela. Yeah, dude, okay, whatever. Nonsense.
Culture thing is good. So basically, whatever is farther away from those values is the thing that these people will support. It is that simple. I know that you might think...
No, you fucking moron. It's just that this position is pretty fucking simple. Regime change is bad. A flailing, dying empire just trying to do economic coercion through military sort of adventurism is just period, end of story, fucking bad.
There's no way it's that simple. Absolutely it is. It is. And once you see it from that angle, it's hard not to keep seeing it that way. Because that's
this is not fucking Occam's razor fucking bullshit, which obviously Asmongold has no idea what that fucking means. It's not that fucking simple. Trump just wanted to do an invasion of fucking Venezuela literally just because of the fact that he wanted to get the fucking goddamn oil. That is literally it. He just wanted the fucking oil. Trump made it very clear on the campaign trail that he wanted the oil. That he did the initial coup in 2019 just to try to get the oil. That he did the follow-up fucking sanctions on the Venezuelan economy in order to get the fucking oil. That is literally it.
Is how it's going to be. And so obvious too. Yeah, I think like, you sound like a schizo saying it, but whenever you have so many points on a graph, you're going to be able to draw a line. So yeah, that's exactly what's happening. And I don't care about Venezuela. That's pennies to the illegal stuff in America compared to Mexico. Well, it's a lot of the thing is that if we're able to trade with Venezuela and we're also able to weaken other global enemies, the problem is that like I don't even really disagree with you, and I think that you can really do both. Like if you're looking at what's happening in Venezuela and saying that, like here's one thing I'm going to say, okay? Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Because if you went on Twitter, everybody was saying, this is against international law. You have to wait for Congress. We'll read the Constitution. Oh, you can't just do that. That's...
Well, yeah, that's because this is against U.S. and international law. Period. End of story. But Trump can seemingly just be like, nah, whatever. We're just going to just randomly fucking attack the Venezuelans just because, again, our schizo fucking old man, madman fucking president is just said he wanted a bunch of fucking oil. Like, that's really about it.
It's illegal. It's a war crime. And you know what Trump did? He just went in there and did it. That's it. It's over. Just like what happened with Iran. Remember what happened after Iran?
Yeah, it's a fucking war crime. What he's doing is illegal. Period. End of story.
Nothing happened.
Yeah, because, again, like, it's all fucking vice signaling fucking bullshit. Again, the only reason he's doing this is because he wants the fucking oil. Of course, we have liberals also saying that, oh, man, the Western commentators are saying they're just hang-rigging about this, even though all the Venezuelans inside and outside Venezuela are actually celebrating all of this. Here's the fucking thing. Just because a bunch of random dumbass, like, dipshits are, like, randomly fucking celebrating out in the streets doesn't mean that overall what the Trump administration did is a fucking good thing. This is going to cause a power vacuum. This could cause potential civil war. Again, the only way forward at this point in time for the Venezuelans and for the United States of America is to just occupy the country and try to extract as many resources as possible. That is literally the only way forward. But then again, this is expected of the fucking liberals. Be rah 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 for the current fucking war that's going on. Be rah 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 against the current civil rights movement that is currently going on, and then 5 years later turn around and then say, actually, I was against this the whole time. I think this is actually a really, really bad thing to happen. I don't think this was a good thing whatsoever. Again, liberals, completely fucking worthless on this. Anything that these fucking conservatives have to say is non-fucking sensical. And obviously, what? Richard fucking Hanea. Sorry, if international law means you can have live under a socialist dictator for forever, then to hell with international law. The principle, socialist dictators shouldn't exist. Trump's national sovereignty. What the fuck are you talking about? Dude, this is incredibly fucking stupid. Just doing a random fucking bombing campaign and a kidnapping of a world fucking leader, just because of the fact that, yeah, he decided to fucking skirt elections in order to stay in power, which I do think that Nicolas Maduro more than likely did. But there are currently systems in place in order to be able to address that. Are they going to be the most effective sort of tools? No. But that's because the United States makes it such that those tools are not effective, so then you can have the king in power, the president, to basically just do whatever the fuck he wants, right? There are mechanisms and investigations that were already being done into the Venezuelan election to try to take a look at the fucking sort of fraudulent election that happened there. There was already an investigation happening, and Trump basically said that, man, who gives a fuck about any of that bullshit? We're just going to bomb first and ask questions later. We don't care about any of the active consequences that we fucking cause. But then again, I would expect no less from this, supposed pro-peace sort of candidate here. Just randomly going in, kidnapping a bunch of people, and just causing everything to become significantly worse in the region. This regime change is not going to accomplish anything whatsoever except one thing and one thing only. More instability in the region. It's going to cause more migrant waves, which I thought that Donald Trump was against, but apparently not so. He needs to have something to fucking campaign on anyways. So he's just going to basically cause a power vacuum, cause a fucking civil war in the area, and just make everything significantly worse. For what reason exactly? Meh, just because he felt like it and he wanted some fucking oil. It's Iraq 3 electric fucking boogaloo. Very, very, very fucking stupid. Nonsensical, but as expected from dumbasses like Donald Trump, who has a legacy that he wants to secure. He essentially just decided to cut the head off the snake, which is going to ultimately fucking accomplish nothing whatsoever, and just not make not only the lives of Venezuelans significantly fucking worse in the long run, because there's a bunch of random anecdotes of Venezuelans fucking celebrating. Yeah, dude. Then eventually the U.S. companies are going to come in. Same with the U.S. stooge that's currently in power. Austerity measures are going to be implemented. The material conditions of the Venezuelans are going to be worse. Trump himself also admitted that Maria Corina Machado is also not very popular. It's going to be a tough time for her to essentially be in there, and that the U.S. would have to do occupation in order to try to maintain that sort of power structure, or that sort of, not power structure, but regional sort of emplacement of Maria Corina Machado. This is a complete fucking disaster in the making, and it's going to fucking... I don't know how long it's going to take to collapse in on itself, but it's going to be so inherently unstable that basically, if there aren't U.S. fucking boots on the ground, the government that Maria Corina Machado is going to instantaneously collapse, like it did with Janine fucking Áñez's fucking government after her fucking coup was successful within Bolivia. Again, same fucking bullshit, same unstable fucking nonsense, consistently from the dipshit that's currently in fucking power. Don't think there's really much else to say besides free Venezuela. this regime change is going to accomplish nothing and is only going to worsen conditions for the Venezuelan people.